Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching The Inside Scoop. I am your host, Steve Scanlon. Sitting next to me is my co-host, Bubba. Welcome, Bubba.
How you doing, Steve?
Pretty good. And sitting on the desk is Emily.
Oh, sorry.
Joey got excited there for a second. What? He was doing the Stone Cold. He was like one of them Stone Cold fans from the '90s, saying what?
They still do it to other wrestlers.
And now the other person on stage is Joe. He's excited every time he sees Emily. I know.
Yeah, right.
Have you noticed that, Bubba?
Yes.
No.
And I'm getting to ask the question tonight. You're not going to ask it. I don't care how many years you've been doing this show.
What question is that?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. Now, we are in September already, and in 3 months.
Yet.
Tomorrow is September 1st, sir.
Yep. Well, this episode will air in September, so this will air first weekend and the second weekend of September, I believe. And so,
Next show, I'm going to wear white, just to upset the guy on the commercial on TV.
I never understood why you're not allowed to wear white
after Labor Day. I don't know either, but I'm wearing it anyway, just to upset him.
Well, you know, in 3 months is Christmas. Where has the year gone?
I can't even say it.
No,
I can't even think about Christmas. I have another reason why I don't like Christmas anymore. I mean, I'm going to be a little bit of a humbug.
Well, I had a bad Christmas last year.
You're very bad one. That's one of the reasons why I'm
hoping to have a better Christmas this year.
I can't even talk. I don't want to talk about that because that's one of the reasons why I don't like Christmas too.
Okay, well, we're going to start things off. I want to start off different with birthdays this time. Then we'll go to deaths. Let's start off with a happy note. You have some birthdays listed, Joe?
I got a few wrestling ones.
Okay, and I have a few friends' birthdays I like to announce.
Okay, the first is the former chairman of the WWE, Vince McMahon, who's 77.
I wonder what he's going to be doing now on his downtime since he's gone from WWE. Unless he's working behind the scenes, not being shown. But I know he stepped down, he retired because of their scandal. Well, I wonder, how old is he? I'm sorry, you probably mentioned how old he is.
77.
I wasn't listening. 77? Mm-hmm. Wow, he's that old?
Yep.
He looks good for his age. I thought he was younger, like 70 or 71. Wow, 77.
Next is Jimmy and Jay Uso.
The twins.
Yep. They're 36.
Right, you forgot to announce them as the unified champions.
Oh, sorry. It wasn't.
The one on the Bloodline.
Yeah.
That their group. Mm-hmm. Bloodline. Yeah.
And this one I just found out today, which is this one's birthday is actually today. Mickey James.
Now today you talking about August 31st.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's 43.
Wow, Mickey's already. I was thinking maybe 40.
Okay, well, I have a few friends whose birthdays are coming up in September. First is we're gonna start off with September the 5th. You got my friend Ray. I think both of you know. Well,
yes.
I know both of you know Ray. Ray. We call him Ray. The son of Brian. We call him B3. Brian been a guest on the show a few times. Uh-huh. We know him as the Destroyer from the ABWF days. Also on September 5th, it's going to be hard to get through that day. It's my brother John's birthday.
He would have been
49th. Yeah. Also, jumping 6 days later to September 11th. Now, many people still have wounds from 9/11. Our friend Dave Badejo, he turns, I don't know how old
I'm going to go into a small side note just for that.
Okay.
September 11th, the museum in New York, I heard, is closing. They're closing the 9/11 museum. They're moving a lot of stuff upstate.
Oh, okay.
They're actually going to close the museum because they think it's kind of worn off and they want to kind of give it closure.
Okay.
I have been to the 9/11 museum. I've worn that. I think I've worn that shirt on the show, believe it or not. I've been to the 9/11 museum and it's moving tribute.
And then on the 12th of September,
You forgot the 10th.
The 10th.
So we know on the 10th.
Oh yeah, their Intimidator.
Yep.
You're right. His birthday's coming up.
I'm gonna tell him that you forgot. I'm gonna tell him. I'll speak to him.
Oh,
You
watch out
forgot
for
your
that baseball
birthday.
bat.
I'll take care of that for you, Intimidator. I'll take care of him. Should I beat him down with Lily or no? Wait.
Oh boy, I'm in for it. Okay, so the next birthday, September 12th. Gee, I forgot who it was. There was someone that I close to, someone who I hung out with for a long time.
He's right here on the stage wearing a Drew McIntyre
No, it's not
shirt.
Bubba's birthday. His birthday passed.
He's not
It's in
wearing a Drew
June.
McIntyre shirt. He's wearing a Patriot shirt.
What were you
Birthday's
saying
not in
about
September.
shirts?
Talking about my birthday's
Oh yeah,
September 12th.
that's your birthday, Joe. I forgot, Joe. So you're turning the big 5-0, right?
5-2.
52. Oh,
We have a full deck of cards.
but you're not playing with a full deck, though.
Oh. He has 54. He has 2 jokers too, and we're on stage with him. Like I said, go on the wrestling forum if you want to find out wrestlers who've had birthdays and what have you, and it's mentioned just about daily. I mean, my good friend Vic Augusta and Brittany Brown. Actually, Brittany Brown's birthday's today. One of the people who runs that site. Today is her birthday. I know we recently had a birthday. I believe it was Sergeant Slaughter's this past week. That's our last taping. I don't know how old the Sarge is. Robert Remus. I've met the man a few times, but I don't know how old he is. I didn't do my homework. But you can.
Okay, if we did not announce your birthday, we apologize. For those of you who we announced, happy birthday to you all. Birthday cake.
Well, here we go. We broke this one.
I think I'll go to the
streak.
store later on and I'll pick myself an individual size vanilla birthday cake. Even though it's not my birthday.
Get Fudgy the Whale by himself. The whole cake, the whole ice cream cake. I can picture him eating that now. I just picture that.
Some places
Ice
have
cream flying off the wall.
ice cream pizza. It's an ice cream in the shape of a pizza, and I guess the toppings, they put food coloring to make it look like real pizza toppings. I want to try that sometime. All right, Joe, now to the sad part of the show, the deaths.
I've only got 2. First is Beverly Hills 90210 star Joe E. Tata.
I didn't watch that show often. Was he one of the teachers? Or
He's the one that owned the restaurant.
Okay, he
hang
owned
out
the
at.
restaurant that was on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And lastly, former Russian President Mikhail Gorbachev.
I remember that dude from the
Mikhail
80s,
Gorbachev, yes.
1980s. Ronald Reagan had a beef with him.
Not really a beef. I mean, they had some discussions, and basically the USSR fell apart because of Mikhail Gorbachev.
Oh.
I mean, 91 years old. I didn't like the guy, but then again, I don't like Russians. But
I remember Nikolai Volkov coming out to the ring.
Nikolai
with the USSR.
Volkov is not Russian.
sure.
I've met Nikolai Volkov. I've told you this before. I spoke to him. The man was Polish, played a character. He was not even Russian.
He played that character good, though.
I can't even say his
He
real
would-
name.
He
I
would
wouldn't
come
be
out to the
saying it.
ring and
Joseph
sing their...
something. I know it's Joseph something.
I couldn't say. I can't say his last name if I want to. It's like 14 letters long. It's like 7 consonants in a row.
He would come out singing their Russian national anthem.
Playing his character.
Yeah, playing his character. And I remember some of the feuds he had.
Boris
Hacksaw
Zherkov
Jim
was
Duggan,
was Russian.
oh, was he? Okay.
Boris Zherkov was Russian. Yes, he was.
And Corporal Kushner feuded with him. I'm not sure if Sergeant Slaughter feuded with him or not.
Yes, he did.
He did. Okay.
He actually partnered with him too at one time. When Sergeant Slaughter was being hailed there for a while.
Yep. All right. That was it for deaths.
Yeah.
Okay. you reminded us, Bubba, to announce the start time, which is different for a pay-per-view start time, but this is the second time it happened.
That's because we're in a different country and
Yes.
different continent. People were over
1
in Europe.
p.m. on a Saturday.
Right across the Atlantic Ocean.
That's interesting.
Now,
Okay.
before you even read
Uh-oh.
the first, there's the question I want to ask you, and I've been waiting to ask you this,
Yes,
and
I'm
you've been
hungry.
waiting to ask you
Oh,
this for
sorry.
a while too. Sheamus is going against Gunther. 2 heels. Pick the winner.
That's awesome. Now we could actually get a decent pick from Joey.
I'm going with the Irishman.
I'm going
Because
against
it's
you.
in his home area, so.
I'm going with Gunther to keep the title.
I'm going to go with Joey's pick on this, surprisingly. I think Sheamus will win the title in his home country.
He's from Ireland, not Wales.
Well, he's right
I'm
out.
sorry.
His country's
I
right out there.
apologize. I'm not good with islands. So, from his territory, I think he'll win the title in his territory.
But I had to ask that question. I had to. I was eating my craw all week.
Yeah.
Who's Joey going to pick now? He can't pick the favorite. Can't pick the face. He has to pick between the 2 heels. Well, now we know your pick. It's going to be Sheamus. That, if they let that match go, that could definitely steal this pay-per-view. That could be the sleeper match of the entire night. Next to maybe, Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. That seriously could be a heck of a wrestling match.
Yeah, I'd like to, since you mentioned that match, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns because I see outside interference, but I would love to see Drew McIntyre beat him.
I have read this.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's not in concrete against rumors, but WWE and people are saying it's time to take the title off of Roman. He's going to have it 2 years as of Friday. It's time to take the title off of Roman. But here's a spin to this. Again, this is not fact. This is rumor. This is my opinion. And this could happen. Drew McIntyre wins the title from Roman Reigns, and Theory cashes in his money in the bank. Because who's Theory wrestling against?
No one.
Good point.
Well, that's my spin on the whole thing. Take the title off of Roman. He had a nice 2-year run. I mean, Drew McIntyre took a shellacking last week on SmackDown. He got hurt pretty bad. So we saw his back on Raw this past
Yeah, I
week.
saw that. I saw a picture of it.
He took a beating.
There's a chance that may not happen because I remember seeing something on Facebook. I think it was maybe last week or sometime earlier this week. I saw an advertisement saying the chance that Roman's going to be defending the titles against the what's his name now? It has him and his wife.
Edge?
No, not Edge. Oh, what's his name? He just came back.
Johnny Gargano,
No,
Karrion Kross,
yeah, at Survivor Series.
which is in Boston, by the way. Mm-hmm. You knew that.
Interesting.
Well, why don't we go over the rest of our list right quick?
The rest of it?
Yeah, well, might as well. Sorry, Steve, I'm just taking
Since we
over
already
for you.
talked about.
Now, before you go, hold on a second. We mentioned a 1 p.m. start time Saturday, September 3rd. You can stream it live on Peacock.
Yep.
Or you can watch it later on the weekend on Peacock, as long as you're able to stream it. Okay, go ahead, Joe.
On Peacock.
Should I start from the top or?
Yeah, might as well. You got the list there, Joey.
Okay, the WWE titles: Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre.
We've given our pick out of that.
SmackDown Women's title: Liv Morgan against Shayna Baszler.
And we've given, I give my pick. I think Liv keeps the title. I think it's too early to give it to Shayna Baszler. A lot of people are thinking Shayna Baszler might win that title back, but I think Liv Morgan keeps that
Yeah,
title.
I'm going to go with Liv Morgan because she's been getting a push. How about you, Joe? Well,
I agree
obviously,
with-
she
I
can't
agree-
pick
obvious.
her face
I agree
here.
with Liv.
I apologize for asking.
Oh, before we go on, mention that we finally have new women's tag team champions.
Oh, yeah, this week on Raw.
Raquel
Gonzalez and Alaya won that match, and I think that was an upset. I think Dakota Kai and Elo Sky, I think, no, Elo Sharide's force of habit, should have won that match. I think with that faction, you should have gotten a push, but what do I know? I think they're really giving a push to Raquel Gonzalez, so that's why they wanted to put a title on her.
Six women tag match. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka versus Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai.
I'm going to go with Bailey's team on that.
I'm going with Bailey's team. I think I've already said that I'm going with Bailey's team. I'm going to stay with my pick. I mean, we know Joey's going with Asuka, and Bianca Belair, and Bliss.
We can skip the next match because we already talked about it just a little while ago.
Bliss.
Yeah.
Emily, all excited. Look.
Yeah, she does. You win. She's not on TV.
She's not. Just not. That's Lily. That's Emma. This is Emma Lilia. That's her cousin.
I'll skip this next match as we just talked about it. The IC title match. Next we got WWE Legends, Edge and Rey Mysterio against Judgment Day.
So it's 2-on-2 or is it 2-on-3?
2-on-2.
Okay. Now I wonder, before we make our picks, Dominic this past week on Raw handed over the kendo stick to that chick there.
Rhea Ripley.
Now, what was the purpose behind that?
Because he's being a gentleman and won't hit a lady.
Oh, yeah.
I called it last show. Did I not call it that Beth Phoenix was going to come out and do something? I think Beth Phoenix is going to get involved in that match too. I think Beth Phoenix, Rhea's going to try to do some of her stuff, and Beth Phoenix is going to come out of either the audience or the back and go after Rhea Ripley, or we are going to finally see Dominic's turn on his father. Which one happens?
All right, well, I'm going to go with Judgment Day for the win for that match.
I'm going with Edge and Rey Mysterio.
I'm going.
Joey's going to
I'll
go with
break the
Edge.
tie with Edge and Ray.
Yeah, we knew that.
That's a shocker, isn't it?
And finally, which they've been talking about this so much, but they finally made it official: Riddle against Rollins.
That could be a great match too. With
It is.
those two guys are beginning to not just have a feud; they're beginning to really hate each other. That could end up anywhere. That might end up in outside the castle somewhere. Because
Well, that's going to be a great match.
Crazy
it's
match.
Be hard to decide.
I am going to say Riddle wins that match.
Well, with that match, hard to decide what I'm going to eat during that match. I'm debating pizza or cheeseburger.
I thought we were talking about wrestling, not food.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll get back to that match.
He's going to eat a cheeseburger pizza. You know it. I know it. And Lily knows it.
I like that. I never thought of having cheeseburger as a topping on a pizza. That's a good idea.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go with Seth Rollins for that match.
I'm going with Riddle. I like the insult that he sent over at Edge Monday night about Becky.
I didn't like what Edge said back to him. I mean, not with Seth Rollins said back to him though. Brought up a little bit of Riddle's personal life, and Riddle snapped.
That all the matches listed. Okay, I want to jump to talk about Raw this past week. We saw the return of Kurt Angle.
Oh, it's true.
And it's damn true. And I almost fell out of my seat when him and heck's the other guy's name? I keep forgetting his name. The other Olympic.
Chad Gable.
Chad Gable
were shushing each other.
A silver medalist and a gold medalist.
Thank you. You answered my question. I asked Joey. What I'm looking for. What
The nomination,
medal did Chad win? And neither one of us knew.
He won a silver medal, I believe.
Okay.
I believe he won a silver medal. We could actually look it up. I'm almost positive he won a silver medal.
I would like to see. If they end up facing one another in a singles match, I'm going to go with Kurt Angle. But I would like to see two Olympians wrestle one-on-one in a wrestling match. I think that would be a good match.
WWE, I think, is signing, just trying to develop that Olympian just came from Korea. Remember he brought him up for one appearance. I forget the man's name. But
he was also drafted to one of the two shows in the draft.
And he's
Stevenson?
Yes, he's going to be.
Yes, I like to see that guy wrestle.
Him against Chad Gable right now would be a pretty good wrestling match if you let two Olympians go at it.
Yeah, Kurt Angle passed on the opportunity of joining the academy for 1 week only.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Then he ended up having one of the Street Profits wrestle on his behalf against Chad Gable. If Chad Gable ended up winning, then Kurt Angle would have to be a member of them for like
Montez Ford, I believe.
And must do what Chad Gable.
Actually, it was a tag match.
It was a tag match. It was against
I apologize. It was a tag team match.
Otis, my man.
Was the Academy against the Street Profits. And if the Street Profits end up losing that match, Kurt Angle would have to give his services to Chad Gable. But that would be interesting, though, to see Chad Gable, if Kurt Angle was to have to give his services to them, their academy, it would be interesting to see Chad Gable as the manager of Kurt Angle, if Kurt Angle wrestled single matches. That would be great. I think that would be I think that will make Kurt Angle better to have someone in his corner who's a silver medalist, even though it's not as good as a gold medal. But have another Olympian in your corner. I think that will help you out in your solo career.
And he brought his milk with him.
Oh yeah, that's right. I laughed when he spit out whatever was in the cup. Yeah, then he ended up going into the cooler, grabbing those glass bottles of water. I mean,
milk.
He threw out some to the crowd, too.
I know NXT has something called the World of Worlds. NXT Europe is shutting down. I guess they're shutting the whole faction down. NXT from England, from Europe. And they're going to be combining a lot of their titles.
Are they on TV here locally? They're NXT Europe?
Not often. Once in a while they'll show a match, but not always. I have to see if you can watch it on cable. I don't know, because I've seen it, I think, once.
I haven't seen any of their matches.
We see some of the guys come around.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of WWE stars that actually went and spoke to some of these different wrestlers. I mean, Braun Breaker was spoken to by, I had talked to him. I think it was Finn Balor. And said, you better not lose this match. And Gunther was over there. And
so was Butch.
Shayna Baszler, so was Butch. Yeah, Butch went over and talked to somebody. He finally talked to him.
When he was Pete Dunne at the time.
Oh, there was great battles with Pete Dunne. He was a great champion. That's something you can look into too. And NXT World is on Sunday. It's counteracting, I guess, the AEW pay-per-view. That looks like it might be interesting, something to look into too if you don't do anything Sunday.
Raw has brought in some NXT wrestlers recently.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, there've been one stalking The Miz. Dexter Loomis. Dexter Loomis been stalking, even kidnapped The Miz a week ago.
Supposedly got arrested on NXT last week, and he's not arrested. He's actually working for WWE. They re-signed him.
Miz has been paranoid.
He's playing a good character. He's playing a good role with it.
My opinion, Triple H, now that he's in charge of creative for the WWE, since Vince McMahon stepped down, he retired, I think Triple H is doing good so far, and I'm starting to like Raw better now.
As I mentioned to you before we started this evening, I mean, some of the rumor mill. I know Bray Wyatt wants to re-sign back here, and I saw on this rumor mill that they're really strongly going after and getting back Adam Scherr. You're like, who's Adam Scherr?
Who's that? Yeah.
Braun Strowman. That's his real name. they get ready to sign him back. So.
And I heard the Big Show is interested in coming back. It'd be good to see the Big Show and Roman Reigns go at it. If Roman Reigns survives his future matches. Oh, true, good point. I desperately like to see Roman Reigns lose that title.
Let me mention quickly, there's a couple of independent shows coming up. A couple weeks, Mattapoisett has some live wrestling. They really haven't named the organization yet. I went to one of their shows Sunday. I had mentioned it last show. It was at the Revival on Sims Street in Providence. It's, being promoted by Teddy Goods, who made an appearance on SmackDown. I went over and spoke to Teddy personally and told him personally, and I know he doesn't watch our show, but I said to him, my entire wrestling career, it never made me feel as good to see you on TV, because I've seen you since day one, and you went on there with your name, Teddy Goods. That's your wrestling name. That's what you use now. I said to him, it was 10 years too late. Very good wrestling show. It was $15. Good time. They had some decent food there. It was outside. They're going inside. They're going back October 30th to the same venue. They're going to be in Mattapoisett. Go on independentwrestling.com. You can look up some of these shows. I want to congratulate Mike Montero. I guess he became the new Masked Gladiators champion. He must have beat Slavian Oliveira. I did not make that show on Friday, and I did not make the show that was in Dedham, and I apologize to both those promoters. We had some pretty nasty weather Friday. Hurricane rain and hail coming down, and I didn't want to take a chance of going anywhere with a vehicle. So I stayed home. It was safe, and I knew I was going to that show Sunday. I know RWA has their show coming up again. It's back at the church they were at before. I'll get you an address. Hopefully it's before that. Another thing I want to remind people of, we have about a minute. Well, one, the Patriots are starting up before our next show. The Patriots will have their first game in the books. And people, don't forget to vote on your preliminaries. Our current mayor here in Attleboro is running for sheriff against Sheriff Tom Hodgkins. I want to wish good luck to Mayor Paul Heroux in his quest to become our new sheriff. A lot of people died for our rights to vote, and it's a very strong thing with me. Don't forget to go vote. That's the 6th, I believe, next week. So a few days after our taping. I'd like to thank ACS for taping us, our director for directing us, for having us, Joey for your list.
Oh, that's Joey and Steve.
And Emily for, her input.
All right, well,
the only one that talks or is Joe. So.
All right, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.